Hello, everyone. My name is Babalwa Mcaciso, and welcome to Unfiltered Conversations. Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot believe that I am actually saying welcome to my podcast. I have been meaning and yearning to start a podcast for so long, and I felt like there is no better time rather than now. I really have been meaning to get into this space, and I just thought I should do this intro video to introduce myself and to introduce what this podcast is going to be about. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So, this video, I'm just going to be doing a little bit of background info about who am I, where I come from, and just to unpack what is to come onto this podcast. So, I was born in Port Elizabeth. I went to primary school there. In primary, I was always into music. I've always been such a creative child. I literally used to do pageants. All the pageants, like in my city. I used to do drama in primary. I used to do music. So I've always known that I wanted to get into the creative space. So fast forward, went to primary in Port Elizabeth. And then when I was 11 or 12, myself and parents relocated to the Western Cape to a small town called Langebaan. My dad is an engineer. And he got a job opportunity to move to the Western Cape, and we moved to Langebaan. I went to school there. I went to school there for 2 years, and it was an Afrikaans school. I really struggled to fit into the culture, and I knew that I wanted to be in Cape Town, and my parents lived 2 hours away from Cape Town. So I asked them if they could let me move to Cape Town. I literally begged them, and I said, if you guys can let me find a school in Cape Town, an accommodation, I want to move to Cape Town and I want to get into the television industry. I want to do pageants and I want to be in front of the camera. So please give me a chance. I promise I will not disappoint you. So my parents were like, sure. If you can find yourself a school and accommodation, then you can definitely move to Cape Town. Moved to Cape Town. I found myself a school, which was in Bloberg, and I moved in with my aunt and uncle, which stayed in Bloberg as well. So it worked out perfectly. I went to a school and I started at the school at Bloberg in grade 10. When I got to the school, within a year of me being in Cape Town, I signed myself onto a casting agency and I landed my first TV job, which played on SABC3. Look at that audacious me, you guys. I was such an audacious child. I believed so strongly that, I was meant for bigger things, and I was such a go-getter. I literally did not let anything get me down, and I was so eager to achieve my dreams, my goals. And yeah, I landed my first TV job, which was a traveling kiddies show owned by Okuhle Media. It was called Which Way, and we basically were 4 teenagers that traveled around the country exploring. It was a reality show, so it was more of an educational reality show for children. We fly to different provinces, drive around the province, learn about it, and just share knowledge and information of the history of each town and what is special about it. And it was actually such an amazing journey to be a part of. And then, I did that show. And then I told my parents as well, when I got to the school that I got to, that I wanted to be the head girl of the school. And when I had gotten to the school, there hadn't been a head girl because it was quite a new school. So they were like, my dad was like, lol, I wonder how are you going to make that happen? I was like, well, you watch me because I'm a very ambitious young woman. So I'm going to make this happen. So to fast forward that story, when I got to matric, like I literally did everything in the school. I was part of the debating society, any cultural activity that was there, I made sure that I do it. By the time we got to matric, I had really earned quite a good reputation for myself around the school, and I also gained a lot of trust from the educators as well as the learners because they saw how dedicated I was, and they saw some leadership aspects of me. And when I got to matric, the school had its first class of head prefects. And guess what? Your girl made it to being the head girl of the school. So, that was my life in high school. And then I matriculated. And then when I got to matric, actually, I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to get into the film space. And I really told my parents that this is what I wanted to do because I had done it throughout high school because I was doing the TV show. And my dad was like, you need to find something that you can study. And if this TV thing doesn't work out for you, you must have a qualification to fall back onto. So I did my research because I really wanted to study something that was aligned with my dreams and the whole television and media industry. And then I spoke to a cousin of mine that I later on in my years in Cape Town lived with. When I was in matric, she was like, oh, there's a friend of mine. She is working in that advertising industry. She studied at the school called the AAA. And I think you would do so well. You know, she works on ads and she's more behind the scenes. But I think if you really want to study this thing, I think you would do so well in advertising. So I did my research. I found the school, filled in my application, and it was so difficult to get in at the time. For those of you guys who went to AAA back in the day, you probably know how difficult it was to get in. I spent like 3 months doing my application because it was just essays of answers, like the questions on the application form were like write a minimum of 50 words. And there were so many questions. So I successfully compiled and completed my application with the help of my cousin at the time. And then we submitted it. And then after the application was successful, you had to go for an interview because they were very specific of the type of people that they wanted into the school, since it was like a really good school in the advertising industry. So I did my interview. My application was successful. And then I was accepted to study a BA in Integrated Marketing Communications at the AAA School of Advertising. And then I started studying in 2013. That was my first year. Studied at the AAA. In my second year of studying, I worked at a boutique. I did various jobs like promotions just to get some extra cash and just to get some work experience. So by the time I was doing my internship in my final year, I was like really ahead of the game in terms of having the experience of work and just being exposed to the working culture. I feel like it's so important when you are studying to just get a job and be able to understand how to manage your finances. So when I got to my final year, the school helped to place you at an advertising agency to do your internship. And this was part of the program, part of your degree. So before you graduate, you needed to have completed a 3 months internship. And so I interned at 2 different places. One of the agencies was called Mullen Low. And then my term at Mullen Low ended in December because it was 3 months. And then from the December period, I actually found myself another internship. I was like, since I really am so eager to get into the TV industry, how about I intern at a production company? So I found myself a job. and I worked as an intern actually at Cordova. Cordova is the production company that does Top Billing. They do Afternoon Express. They do Espresso, the morning show. And I interned there from December until March 2016. Yes. What an amazing experience. Learned so much about the behind the scenes of the television industry. Like being on set is just such a great learning experience for anyone that wants to potentially be in front of the camera. I highly recommend first going to do an internship and learning a lot about the technicalities and everything that goes behind the scenes, because once you get in front of the camera, then you would have had that knowledge and background of like what it really takes to make TV. So I worked there for about 3 months, and then I was like, really want to get into this TV thing, but not yet. I'm not ready. We'll see where life takes us. And then I left Cordova. I got another job, which was like a permanent internship now position at the Ogilvy Group in advertising to practice my actual degree and qualification that I had studied for. So I worked for the Ogilvy Group for about 2 years in the advertising space. And then I left and I went to work for a digital agency. And then I moved around quite a lot. I think I worked 2 years in each of the different agencies that I worked at before I then left my advertising career to pursue the digital marketing space, which is Instagram and YouTube. So for those of you who know me, I started my YouTube channel in lockdown in 2020. It was myself and husband, and I was quite frustrated being in the advertising industry. And I was like, I really enjoy being in front of the camera, but how do we make this happen, And it was in lockdown at the time. Everyone was at home. We started a YouTube channel, and guys, like it grew tremendously. If you guys have been there from back in the day, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like our numbers skyrocketed. I think because a lot of people were at home and they were consuming a lot of the digital media, like that was the time where a lot of content creators just blew up all over the world because all of us were stuck at home. We didn't really have much to do. We were tired of consuming TV, and people resorted to consuming digital media. So that was a time where I started my YouTube channel. It grew tremendously. Instagram grew tremendously. I started working on huge campaigns that I never would have imagined to even work on. But it was ultimately my dream falling into place, which is just being in front of the camera. And at the time, we were creating content as well, like authentic and organic content. And my social media followers grew. Instagram grew tremendously. And I started generating good revenue on that platform, on the digital platforms. And then I had to leave my job. I had to leave my advertising job because I genuinely just couldn't keep up between doing campaigns and being at work 24/7. It was just too demanding. And I had to choose my passion and follow my dreams. I left my full-time 9-to-5 job in 2021 to pursue social media content creation on a full-time scale. And from that decision, you guys, honestly, my goodness, everything just unfolded. And I just got more and more jobs. I just grew. We ended up doing in 2021, actually, our very first TV commercial, which was an at-home TV commercial that was playing on prime time on MTN during a MasterChef. That was huge, you guys. I feel like God was really just waiting for me to take the leap of faith and really just follow my dreams, and then everything would just unfold and blow up. And that year, like, is the year that, like, when I look back, it's like I worked on the biggest, campaigns that I could have ever imagined. So shortly after we signed and got the at-home commercial, we were also in the in-store point of sale adverts in the actual at-home store, and even on the magazine, the at-home magazine. So it was really such a big job, and it was such an amazing experience. And then shortly after that, I got another job, which was huge, which was a slow mag campaign that was literally all over the digital space, like on YouTube, on Instagram. Like, yeah, that job really was just so big. So, yeah, that was my journey. And then I continued growing in the social media and content creation space. And I think when I got to 30, last year I turned 30, I was like, I need to really do something that is more meaningful. Something that I'm going to feel so inspired, like waking up every day to do. And I was like, yes, I need to start a podcast. I love communication. I love being a communicator. I love being in front of the camera. I love talking to people. I love unpacking who they are, unpacking their journeys, and just learning and sharing stories to help other people, grow and overcome certain challenges that they may be facing in life. So I was like, ding, 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 you need to start a podcast. And yeah, that is why we are here today. I am actually so, so happy and so honored to be going on to this journey with you guys. The name of this podcast is called Unfiltered. And you may be wondering why it is unfiltered. I really just wanted to name it Unfiltered because I wanted to be unfiltered conversations. I wanted to be a space of vulnerability where everyone, like all people, whether you're male, whether you're female, you can come in and you and I can have a conversation about your journey, about the certain things that you have accomplished in life to achieve the place that you are at right now, like to achieve all the things that you've achieved. And I really didn't also want it to be a podcast that is an interview kind of template. Because I feel like sometimes when people are being interviewed, they have their guards up and you can never really unpack who they are and their true story, their true success story of their journeys and how they got to where they are today. So I'm excited to share this baby with you guys. I'm excited to learn new things. I'm excited to unlearn certain things as well. I'm excited to just have conversations, that will inspire us to be better. I feel like in life, people never stop growing. And this is a space for us to listen. This is a space for us to just grow and become better people in everything that we do, and just to live a purposeful life. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video and listening in. I hope that you are as excited as I am to have unfiltered conversations, to listen in on some unfiltered conversations, to grow and just to unpack, as I sit with some of your favorite people around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.